joy, oh, tidings of comfort and joy. From God our heavenly Father, a blessed angel came, and unto certain shepherds brought tidings of the same, how that in Bethlehem was born the Son of God by name. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging.
Not only green when summer's here, but also when 'tis cold and drear.
Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst give me. Oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst give me.
How often has the Christmas tree afforded me the greatest glee?
Oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst give me. Oh, Christmas tree, thy candle shines so brightly. Oh, Christmas tree, thy candle shines so brightly.
From face to summit, gay and bright, there's only splendor for the sight.
Oh, Christmas tree, thy candle shines so brightly. Oh, Christmas tree, how richly God has decked thee. Oh, Christmas tree, how richly God has decked thee.
Thou bidst us true and faithful be, and trust in God unchangingly.
Oh, Christmas tree, how richly God has decked thee.
It was Christmas time in London. There was a man named Ebenezer Scrooge. He was a hard-working man, but at the same time he was a miserable, greedy, cruel, and stingy person who didn't know what generosity meant. A day before Christmas, Scrooge and his clerk, Bob Cratchit, were working in the office. Scrooge, as always, was counting his money, while Bob was counting the minutes to go home to his family.
It's so cold in this office, but Mr. Scrooge won't let me turn on the heat. He says it's a waste of money.
Stop your tea-chatting. I can hear you all the way over here.
There was a knock at the door.
Well, come in. It's open.
Oh, well, excuse me, sir.
What are we selling today?
Oh, I'm not selling anything. I was wondering, could you give some money to the poor? Could you please spare a pound? Well, look at it this way. At least you get the satisfaction of helping those people in need.
Get out of here. And don't come back.
Suddenly, the front door opened, and Mr. Scrooge's niece came inside.
I said don't come back! Oh,
Mr. Cratchit?
it's you.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. Oh, Uncle,
Merry Christmas. Christmas is only a lie.
surely you don't mean that.
Of course I mean it. Christmas is just an excuse not to work. Besides, what reason do you have to be happy? You're so poor.
And what reason do you have to be so sad? You're so rich.
Bah.
Don't get angry, Uncle.
Of course I'm angry. Christmas is just the time to... Christmas is just... Christmas... Merry Christmas. What is Christmas? Christmas is just a time to buy toys with money you don't have. A time to pay taxes with money you don't have. Fools.
That's not true, Uncle.
Niece, go celebrate Christmas your way, and I'll celebrate it mine.
Uncle Scrooge, I know there are some things I don't do right, and things I don't take advantage of, and one of those things is Christmas. Christmas is one of the days during the year where people seem to get along just fine. It's a time of charity and love and forgiveness. It's a time when people open their hearts to one another. Maybe Uncle Christmas hasn't given me a single silver or gold coin, but it does me good. So that's why I say, blessed be Christmas.
Wow. That was so beautiful. I wonder why you don't work for government!
Uncle, please don't get angry. Why don't you come over to my house tomorrow? My husband and I, we're having a dinner, and you'll be a special guest.
Thanks, but no.
And why, Uncle Scrooge?
Why did you marry?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Go.
Uncle, that's not fair. You've never been to my house before, and you're using my marriage as an excuse.
Have a nice day.
Uncle, I've already made a decision to celebrate Christmas, and if you just want to be that way, then fine. Have a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Have a nice day, Happy New Year, and get out!
As you wish, Uncle. Have a great Christmas, Mr. Cratchit.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Then Mr. Scrooge's niece left the office.
Look at that. A law clerk who earns minimal salary, a wife, children, talking about Merry Christmas. You must be crazy.
Mr. Scrooge, I have filed all the paperwork, sent all the letters. I also swept out the chimney and brought in more wood for the fire.
And
Well, it's closing time, Mr. Scrooge.
if you're done, you may go.
And Mr. Scrooge, tomorrow is Christmas, a day spent with family.
And I suppose you'd like the day off.
Oh, yes, Mr. Scrooge.
Fine! But come in early the next day.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge opened the door and Cratchit went home. Then Scrooge returned to his desk to finish his accounts. After a few hours, Scrooge closed his account books and proceeded to close the office. When he got home, he climbed the steps to his bedroom. Sat in a chair beside the fire and started to eat his supper. Suddenly, he heard old bells ringing and a strange and loud noise coming from the outside.
Who's making that noise? God, must be asleep.
But the strange noise continued until he saw a ghost coming through the bedroom door.
I must be dreaming.
No, this is not a dream.
I know you. You're Marley. What do you want from me?
I want a lot from you. Do you see these chains? I am chained to my sins.
Sins? What sins? You are a hard worker and a good businessman.
Businessman, I took advantage of people. While I was alive, I never understood the value of love and charity. Now, I wander the earth, unable to find peace. Listen well, Scrooge. I am here to give you a chance to change. And if you don't change, the same fate will await you. Hear me, Scrooge. You will be visited by 3 spirits. Expect the first one to come on the next night when the clock strikes 1. Expect the second to come on the next night after that when the clock strikes the same hour. And expect the third on the next night after that when the clock strikes the 12th hour. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Then the ghost left the room, floating through the window. Scrooge closed the window and went to bed shaking in fear and fell asleep. Next day, when the clock struck 1, Scrooge saw a strange creature beside
What boy?
Now let's see another Christmas. Then they arrived to a house.
I know this house. This is the house where I grew up.
Yes, it is. And do you recognize that boy sitting alone reading?
That's me. Why does he look so alone?
You must know the answer.
Because my parents were always away at work. That's why my Christmases were so sad and lonely.
Come, take my hand. We don't have much time.
No, Costina, no, take me back.
Don't blame me. I told you these were just shadows of things that have been.
Take me back!
We have one more stop. Our time is running out. And they appeared in a garden. Scrooge was now a young man who was sitting in a garden beside a lovely young woman. The woman was crying.
I can't marry you, Ebenezer. There's something you love more than me.
Nonsense! I love no other woman, Isabel.
That's true. But you love money. You love it more than anything.
There's nothing wrong with loving money. Look, when we're engaged, we're poor. We weren't happy being poor.
Well, I hope you're happy with the life you've chosen.
And the woman ran away from the garden. Old Scrooge and the ghost followed her. When she stopped, Scrooge could see that she was a few years older. Children laughed and played at her feet. A little girl threw her arms around the woman and gave her a kiss.
Mother, help me retie my bow.
Those her daughters.
Mother, you are so wonderful.
They are. It's a big noise. The door opened, and a man entered carrying many gifts.
Mother!
They ran to him and hugged him. The man laughed and gave them the gifts. Then he hugged his wife.
Darling, my wife, my children, I have such a wonderful life.
I've seen enough!
And Scrooge appeared in his own bedroom.
Thank God. It was only a dream.
Then the clock struck.
It wasn't a dream.
Who are you? Are you the ghost of Christmas present?
Yes, I am the ghost of Christmas present. Come, we have much to show. Take my robe.
Scrooge touched the hem of the spirit's robe. The bedroom vanished, and Scrooge found himself on a busy, snowy street. There were many people shopping for last-minute gifts. The stores were still open. People were cooking their best meals, and the bells from the church were striking. Everybody was attending church wearing their best clothes. Everybody was happy.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, bring us some piggy pudding. Oh, bring us some piggy pudding. Oh, bring us some piggy pudding and a cup of good cheer. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring some out here. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
They look so happy.
Well, of course, it is Christmas.
So you're just saying because they're happy because it's December 25th.
Yes, because today is the day where they can just enjoy being with their family, enjoy the food on the table, and the many blessings they receive.
Then the ghost took Scrooge to Bob Cratchit's house. And standing there at the door, the ghost proceeded to bless the house. Then Scrooge saw Bob Cratchit playing with his children.
Is this where he lives?
Well, of course. What did you expect on his salary?
Then Mrs. Cratchit entered into the dining room carrying a small turkey on a platter.
They look so poor. Their clothes are so old.
Love is what you feel here.
Oh, Mother, it looks so delicious. Yes, it does. I can't wait to eat.
Bob Cratchit helped his youngest boy to the table. The boy was pale and thin and carried a crutch.
Will it be okay, Father?
I know some.
I can make it. Okay.
What's wrong with the boy? He doesn't walk right.
His name is Tiny Tim. He's sick, and his parents can't afford a doctor, so maybe he'll die.
Die! Isn't there something I could do?
Why should you care? It'll diminish the world's population.
At that moment, Scrooge realized that those were his own words and felt sorry for himself. Then he heard his name.
Mr. Scrooge. Mr. Scrooge is the reason that we're having this meal.
I wish I could see him to thank him personally. Crabby old miser.
Now, Martha, he does pay my wages so we can afford this lovely meal.
Mr. Scrooge is a crabby old miser.
Now, Betsy, we can't repeat things that we hear.
But Mother just
Yes, but Father would like to keep his job.
We're so lucky to have a loving mother and father. Some children in the world don't have one.
That's right, Becky. Children, it's Christmas. Let us rejoice.
Well, I hope Mr. Scrooge does have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I propose a toast to Mr. Scrooge and to our Christmas. Merry Christmas and God bless us.
God bless us all.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. Singing and blazing you'll be for us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Harmony and merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I sing of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la.
Meanwhile, it was getting late. The ghost took Scrooge through different places so he could see how people celebrated Christmas. People who were nevertheless very poor, as Scrooge used to say, they were happy and enjoyed being together with their families and friends.
that voice? That's my niece. She's having a party.
My Uncle Scrooge, right? He said Christmas was a lie.
He's really ashamed.
He's very funny, but not very pleasant.
It's only that he's very rich.
Rich? Yes, he's very rich. One of the richest men in Britain. But he does nothing with his money. His wealth is useless.
He didn't come to eat with us tonight because he was too busy staying at home counting his money.
He'd rather get angry with us than have fun.
They don't like me.
No, they don't. But that can change.
How can I change the future?
The room disappeared, and they continued their journey. They visited many countries. They traveled to faraway lands. They visited the sick people who felt happy, poor people who felt rich, shelters where people felt hope. It was a long night, and everything happened in just one night. Then, the ghost of Christmas present was gone.
Thank God. I'm home.
As he sat up, another ghost floated into the room. She was dressed in black, and a dark hood hid her face.
Who are you?
Scrooge. Scrooge. It is getting late.
Who are you? First, there was the ghost of Christmas past, and the ghost of Christmas present. You must be the ghost of what's yet to come. Are you going to show me how I can change?
The ghost said nothing. She just gestured towards the door. Scrooge followed her to the street in front of his office. There were people standing out front, talking and shaking their heads.
I know them. I do business with them. They like me, even if my own niece doesn't. What do they say?
Poor old Scrooge. I know. I feel sorry for him. They told me he's very sick. Well, who's taking care of him? No one. You know he always likes to be alone. And he doesn't have any friends either.
The ghost started wailing, and Scrooge followed her down the street. Then they arrived to a tiny house.
Why are they crying? Last time I was here, they were so happy.
Sleeping in bed was a little child, but he was thinner and very pale. Mrs. Cratchit came into the bedroom.
Darling, what are we going to do? Did you ask Mr. Scrooge for help?
I did, and he can't help us, but his niece will help us.
I hope it's not too late. Whatever will we do without our son?
Mother, it's Tiny Tim going to die. Betsy, don't say things like that.
Oh, my dears.
Please, tell me if the boy will die. Tell me what I can do.
Perhaps if we prepare really hard, maybe Tiny Tim will get better.
Please, tell me if he will die.
The ghost did not answer. Then everything turned dark, and Scrooge appeared in a foggy and cold place.
Howie. Cemetery. Before I knew that grave. Before I knew that grave, please tell me, is it the image of what can be, or the image of what will be?
The ghost did not answer. Bob came in and put flowers at a grave.
No, I could have done something.
Then Scrooge went to see another grave. Engraved on the headstone was the name Ebenezer Scrooge.
Spirit, why do you show me this as if I've lost all hope? I can change.
Scrooge woke up in his bed.
I don't know what today is. I don't care. Oh, I feel like a child. But I want to feel like a child.
Then he heard the church bells striking. Then he saw a girl in the street and shouted,
You! Go! Yes. What day is today?
It's Christmas, sir. Christmas morning.
Thank God. I didn't miss it.
Then he pulled out a bag of money. He tossed a handful of coins to the girl.
Go down to the corner market. There's a big juicy turkey and deliver it to the Cratchit's house.
But, sir, this is a lot of money.
Keep the change.
Yes, sir.
I would go.
Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Scrooge, dressed in his finest clothes, and headed towards his niece's house. He was feeling very happy and excited. He waved to everybody in the street and treated everybody nicely.
I'd like to make a donation.
Yes, sir.
Here you go.
Well, sir, I don't have that much change.
Then keep it all. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
When Scrooge reached his niece's house, his niece was very surprised to see him.
Oh, well, I'm so happy to see you. You've changed your mind about Christmas. Why don't you come join us for dinner tonight?
Thank you for inviting me. What time will be dinner?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Thank you. I have places to go and people to see.
I shall see you soon.
And Scrooge headed to Bob Cratchit's house. Mrs. Cratchit opened the door. She couldn't believe her eyes when she saw Mr. Scrooge standing in front of her.
Oh, Mrs. Scrooge, what a surprise. I wanted to take you from a London real quick.
It was my pleasure.
Come in.
Cratchit, you have worked long hours for very little pay. I will be raising your salary and helping you support your family.
Why, thank you, Mr. Scrooge. How generous of you.
Mr. Scrooge, you're not a credit or miser after all.
And where did you hear that? Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Scrooge did more than what he said he would do. He took care of Tiny Tim as a second father would. Some people laughed to see how he changed, but he didn't care. Scrooge never saw the ghosts